We're now ready to start working on our last component, which is the request index component. Let's do a quick review of a mockup just to make sure that we're on the same page. All right, here we go. At the top right-hand side of the screen, we should have a button that allows the user to create a new request. Now we've already got that button, so I think we're pretty good in that regard. At the bottom left, we want to have a counter that displays the number of requests that have been created. And then finally, right in the center, we want to have a big table that lists out all the different requests that have been created for a single campaign. Now, unfortunately, making this table is going to be a little bit more challenging than you might think. And let me tell you exactly why. The first thing that we're probably going to want to do here is fetch all the different requests that have been created for a campaign, right? Like that makes a ton of sense. We're trying to make a table that lists out all of our requests, so let's go and fetch all of our requests. Well, that's exactly where the problem lies. You see, with Solidity, we do not currently have support, and this might be a little bit surprising, we do not have support right now for returning arrays of structs. And that's exactly what this table is supposed to show. We have one request struct for every single request that has been created inside of our campaign. So we definitely want to get that entire big list, and ideally we would do it all in one go, one call over to our campaign. But Solidity just does not have support for that just yet. We cannot return an array of structs. And just in case you don't believe me, I've taken the liberty of writing out a function that would, in theory, do exactly what you and I want. So I added this function called getAllRequests to our campaign contract. It should be returning an array of type request right here. And then you can see that the logic inside of it says simply return requests, just return every request I have. But you'll notice that I get an error message over here. And the error message says that we are not allowed to return internal or recursive types. And that's what we have here. We have a recursive user-defined type. So we have an array that contains a struct. That is a recursive type. It's some array that contains another type inside of it. So that's what this thing is complaining about right here. So unfortunately, we cannot write a function like this. You will recall, however, that a couple of videos ago, we made this getRequestCount function instead. And this getRequestCount function returned the length or the number of requests that were tied to a given campaign. So although we cannot get all of our requests in one single go or one single call to this campaign that we've deployed, we can instead request the total number of requests or ask for the total number of requests that have been created and then retrieve all of them one by one. Now, obviously, this is not ideal at all. And it'd be a lot more ideal if we could figure out some other way to get all of our requests in one go. But for right now, this is the best case scenario we have. This is the best workaround. So we're going to call getRequestCount. That will tell us how many requests have been created. And then we will do some type of looping logic inside of our component to request each of those one by one. So that's going to be the plan. Let's take a pause right now. We'll come back in the next video and we're going to start to implement that logic inside of our component.